Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. A late, belated Happy Independence Day. We have some stories that we're following today that I want to talk to you about. First of all, President Obama has been meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu today. I'm sure it's going to go as well as it did last time. You know, where the White House didn't even release a photo of the two talking or schedule a joint press conference. But don't worry about it. It's only one of our biggest allies. No biggie. I'm sure it's going to go as well as just about every policy of this administration. It's that well. Also, let's go to the Justice Department. They're filing suit today against Arizona, accusing the state of trying to second-guess the federal government. Oh, how dare they! The federal government never gets things wrong. What do they think? They have rights or something? The lawsuit challenges the state's immigration policy, claiming the invalid law interferes with the federal immigration responsibilities. Well, if you want to take care of your responsibilities, federal government, then I'm sure Arizona would be totally cool with that. But the DOJ says this law must be struck down. And the economy still stinks on ice. But the president is sticking to the big government game plan. Oh, it all seems so very familiar. You know, if you know history book, yeah, we've done all this before. And it doesn't end well. I'll show you how it ends and when we did it before. Next. Come on. You know, Congress just couldn't agree on a budget. But don't worry about that. No, don't worry about it. The House Democrats have deemed and passed a new $1.1 trillion budget. Isn't that great? Deem and pass $1 trillion. Why do we have any of those pesky laws or rules or anything? We should just deem and pass everything. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that because they'll do it. This deem and pass allows Democrats to start spending money in 2011 without following any real budget. Just spend away. Now, Obama's budget director, Peter Orszag, do you remember him? He was the guy that was like, oh my gosh, health care is going to be so great. It's going to be so cheap. We're going to make money with health care. Yeah, remember that clown? He's now leaving the White House. But he wanted to make it very clear, it's not that he was at all disagreeing with the president's spending. No. He said, and if I may quote, I want to emphasize that it would be inaccurate to say that I have told the president personally that I'm leaving because of concerns about our fiscal policy. Who makes a statement like this? I mean, I want to emphasize that it would be inaccurate to say that I have told the president personally that I'm leaving because of concerns about... It's kind of like me. People say, oh, that Glenn Beck, he's always saying that Barack Obama is an extremist. No, that would be inaccurate for anyone to claim that I have told the president that he was an extremist personally. Hey, Pete, we're on to you. We've seen this game before. Now, another former Clinton labor secretary and Obama economic advisor, Robert Reich, has come out and said this, quote, the economy is still in the gravitational pull of the Great Recession. All the booster rockets for getting us beyond it are failing. No, you don't say, Robert. Big government is failing spectacularly. It always does. A year and a half of Obama, here's what we have. The average time needed to find a job now has risen to a record 35.2 weeks. The budget deficit is now 10% of GDP. Home sales, down. Retail sales, down. 9.2 million people are now unemployed. Gee, I can't wait for the other half of this term because this is going well. Despite all of this, the president is taking a victory lap around the country. He's calling this, you ready, the recovery summer. What recovery? This is about as ridiculous as if BP was going around the country right now saying, oh, we're just promoting our unbelievable environmental safety record. Yeah, I don't think so. History shows us time and time again, big government spending is not the answer to national economic problems. But we keep going. Here we go, down the big government path again. Europe the beloved Europe. We should be more like France. We should be more like Europe. This president is squandering a historic opportunity by alienating our allies. Were you saying that about Barack Obama or George W. Bush? How come we're not more like Europe? How is this happening? Well, part of the problem is we have too many politicians like Pete Stark from California. What a surprise. Pete is a founding member of the Progressive Caucus. I showed you some video last week. He embodies absolutely everything about progressives that we have told you about. They look down at you. You're not smart enough to figure it out. Last week, we showed you some constituents in California that were asking about the border fence. He started mocking the Minutemen. How many people are you going to kill today? Excuse me? Now listen to him in this interview with Jan Helfeld on the national debt. Watch this. It's better with sound.
The wealthier we are.
The larger the national debt,
the wealthier it's an indication of the wealth of the country. You're right.
So the more you owe, the more you're worth?
In federal account, in the national scheme of things, that's quite right.
So why shouldn't we borrow another $1 trillion then next year?
Probably
so
because if we should not necessarily borrow another $1 trillion, but we will, inevitably.
No,
we probably shouldn't, but we will. And remember, national debt is just a sign of your wealth. He's a deep thinker. If I only had a brain. First of all, if you don't believe progressives think that you are too stupid and have to be dragged to the right answers, watch the next clip that's coming. More debt means we're wealthy. Remember that. Okay? At the time of the clip, the national debt was $5 trillion. Well, we're 3 times that wealthy now. We're so rich. Don't you feel it? Where did we go wrong on this one, Pete? Well, watch, buckle up. Here he goes. He's going to start condescension.
Did you ever study economics?
A little bit.
Where?
In University of Puerto Rico.
Oh, in University of Puerto Rico. Do you have a doctorate in economics?
No, I don't.
Master's degree?
No, I don't.
How many classes did you take? What I would suggest is that you go, they're simple-minded questions that don't relate to the realities.
The viewers who don't have a doctorate in economics.
Well, why, if you'd shut up for a minute, why don't you explain to your viewers? You're blabbing away here about something you don't know anything about.
So you think that if the national debt increases, we become wealthier. So I don't see why you don't want to go for it and go for $2 or $3 billion.
It's why you probably never graduated from a very good college, Jan. And I'm not going to take the trouble to educate you here.
Oh, please don't, Pete. I know what you're saying. Where's my pipe? I've got to be having a pipe. Where did my pipe go? I've got to have a pipe. Here it is. Oh, Pete. Pete, you are so right. Why explain things like that to the riffraff? Oh, man. I tell you what, Pete. I'm going to speak slowly here for you, okay, Petey Weetsy? You should probably maybe TiVo this. TiVo. It's a device that records TV shows. You can play it back anytime you want when you're in your little feety pajamas there in California, which, by the way, is doing really good stuff economically, too. Now, Pete, you might not know this because you've been busy in Congress for about 37 long years now. No term limits for a guy like you, no. And by the way, 37 years ago, that's when you won your first election, which is weird because you won that election because you said your opponent had been in Congress far too long, Petey Weedy. Pete, let me show you something. This is what I like to call a diverse neighborhood. Economic backgrounds. Here's somebody like you that makes $250,000 a year. You know, before all the stuff that maybe people slip you under the table. Okay? You're making a lot of money and you get a lot of great healthcare benefits, Petey Weedy. But Pete, because you are so incredibly smart, you know that debt is a sign of wealth. So you bought this house. It's a $500,000 house. And you financed $520,000 because you could, because debt is wealth. You also bought a boat, you financed that, so you got a sports car right here. Look at this. Ken and Barbie would be jealous. All right, you got a summer cottage out at the lake as well, but you got it all financed. It's great. Life is sweet to be Pete Stark, isn't it?